Is this going out on platforms or what? Just explain to me
Of
why you're doing
course.
this interview.
So I recently got my British citizenship. So I'm a
Congratulations.
proud um, British citizen. Yeah. So mm, my kind of road uh, in all this. How you say? Wait, we just need to cut again. So I
I love your
will,
nails, by the way.
we will not include it in the final version. So briefly, I um, when I was uh, 31 year yes, when I was 31 or 32 years old, I got this midlife crisis. I used to work in the office and I worked with texts as an editor, and I had romantic relationships with my boss. They were kind of quite passionate and quite BDSM style
Hmm.
relationships, which turned like to the horrible massacre in the end. So I thought a lot about uh, my ways in life, about my goals, and I decided that I want to be artist. It was like about 9 or 8 years ago. So I quit my job, and so I was not quit.
Where,
I
where,
was
where,
kicked out my job
where were
in
you at this time?
Russia.
You're in Russia, okay.
In Russia, yes. So I was kicked out my job, but I didn't find a new one. I decided that I will not work for any other boss anymore. So this is how I decided to be artist. So I started doing photography quite enthusiastically, and I was shooting a lot, just walking around shooting. I shot some people, some landscapes, and at some point, one quite wonderful um, gentleman from Britain. He came as a tourist to St. Petersburg, where I was living, and he saw me in Tinder, and he fell in love with me
Hmm.
and married me and brought me here. And it sounds like a fairy tale, which it is. So yeah, so I I'm a bit superstitious because of that, because there's some magical things going on with me in my life, and you can't really fully believe that it happens to you. So at some point, I uh, found myself in a role of a happy artist who doesn't need to pay bills and can dedicate herself to her art. But something was not working properly. I don't know why. And I was always like interested in sex. And our relationships with my husband started as some. He said that he's bisexual. He was into all this things about hot wife and stuff. So we were like exploring from the very beginning, and I was always like very curious. But my Russian background didn't allow me, like, I was always thinking about who are they, like from the very, very early teens. I was thinking about who are these porn stars.
Hmm.
It's when you like living in post USSR, you have a little bit different, because like first thing
Mm.
when I came here and then I saw these people in UK and British porn is like famous for being very body positive and age positive and just everything positive and quite embracing the imperfections. So for me, like when I was growing, for me, porn stars was somebody who is very perfect at some point, but probably they were very rich. And also, they were like sort of outcasts, because how can you live normal life if you're doing this? So it was like always something. And at some point, when I married somebody English and when I got child, there was some step of liberation in my, like, I feel like my mission of life has been completed. And I was just like, because my goal as a woman was to succeed as a mother and wife. And when I signed up this prenuptial agreement, which guaranteed me uh, being quite looked after whatever happens, and it's like, I'm like, yes, okay. But at the same time, I made this plastic surgery on my eyes. It's called blepharoplasty. Because I had this Asian style eyelid, like a bit heavy, like that. And I was like always thinking about myself like a not very pretty one. But suddenly, like, I looked at myself and I thought, oh my God, I'm so beautiful and I'm so photogenic. I don't know, is it like miracle that, again, I don't really sure where the confidence starts and when, because maybe I was pretty before that as well, but something clicked and I was just like, I am beautiful. And this like idea of being free from responsibilities that are on your shoulders from your parents, grandparents, and all the stuff. When you finally marry your millionaire and move to London, and you're like, yes, I'm successful. My grandmother is so happy. And my husband, he has a horse, you know. And for them, for all the Russian persons, if you have a horse, you're like, Lord. Marina is married Lord. That's it. Riding horse means Lord. Yeah. And yeah, and I was like, oh gosh. And at that time, I was like starting to look for, I looked for the lovers and on the BDSM fetish applications. I didn't really know what I want. But I already found, I felt quite ready. And at some point, I met a guy who, on the fetish dating app, who introduced me, who was like, I am artist and photographer. You're so beautiful. I want to take pictures of you. And he was like 84. And I'm like, well, he sounds safe. Like, why not? And he was my first nude photo shoot with this guy. I went to St. Leonard's, and then he was user of adult folio. So he didn't tell me that there is purple port or there's model folio. No, he just said, you can earn. So he was like not believing his luck because I came to him to model for free. And he was like trying to help, like, and to say that, but you can use these pictures as your portfolio and you can earn some money in the future. And he showed me this adult folio. And the first thing that I've seen actually, like when they opened this adult folio, was like an elderly lady, like maybe she was 60 something, with joyous smile and with the legs widespread, and she looked so happy. And I'm like, because it's a very big thing in my country. We have a generations gap because we have a Soviet Union generation and post-Soviet generation, and people who are like our grandparents, they were all they were not sexy at all. So sex was not it. The USSR and sex, no. And all this rock and roll, and people here who were like age of my grandparents, they were like hippies and they were like punks, like all this, and this was so, and I was so shocked and I was so fascinated. And then I got very quickly, I just got this very intense and exciting how I think 8 months or so, or 9 months. And I just kind of, I I was like shocked by this amount of pure vital energy that ended the whole buzz, because I registered an adult folio and this like started to happen like really intensively. And then I was, wow. And I kind of, and it was super super cool, and I was always happy to work for free or for cheap, because I was like, I wanted to know how this whole, and I wanted to feel this. Uh, and then I met Eddie. This shoot with Rock. It was one of my
Did you see her on Adult Folio?
no.
How did you find her in the first
So
place?
you found me, right? I think yes, Eddie found me and contacted me and suggested me to suggest to shoot with Rock.
I can't remember how I contacted you.
And I was like, uh, I was really kind of excited. So I was like, I still was not sure that I am beautiful. And like, I am not very young, I'm not super cool or super beautiful, but I just like really want to. I was always like that. I always like felt myself not quite beautiful, but still always had lots of boys. Like always, something like I wanted to prove someone, everyone. And then I met Eddie, and we kind of, because he was creative and I was creative, and we started to do this all in creative ways, and it was quite cool. We were like making and we were like more of entrepreneurs, and I enjoyed this side of it. So I was like, I liked this whole thing about videos, selling videos, posting and advertising myself, like but at some point I just felt less. And then I got STI from Viking Wheel.
I was going to ask
And
you.
then there was COVID.
I was going to ask you, what made you stop?
I just didn't feel. It was like an excitement.
So you got an STI before COVID, was that?
Because no, it was my last shoot.
Was it gonorrhea or chlamydia?
No, something minor.
Well,
something minor. Like it was like on one.
Chlamydia's minor.
One injection, and it was.
Yeah,
gone.
that's probably gonorrhea you got.
Or maybe I don't know. I don't remember. But I was like, I was excited, but the whole infrastructure of this world and the fact that I am exploring it and know the rules of it, that I kind of manage my way through it, and this sound feels more and more familiar. It's like friends that you kind of have on Twitter, and these people, you worked with them, and there's already some gossip going on, and here is like you all go to the Dean Street to get sorted, and this is like a whole big world, and you feel, and I just enjoyed to feel like as a part of this world. But then I kind of, because
you did a shoot with Rock, did you as well?
Rock was like I had like, you can count with the finger of one hand the shoots with the productions that I have. We're mostly shooting with Eddie by ourselves. I was never looking for work, and nobody cared about me.
Well, no, you got a lot of work for photography as well, didn't you?
No, for photography, yes, but not for video. Not for video. And it's good. And I like it. But at some point I just got like, and then I was like, I shook my head, and there was COVID, there was time to think. And then I'm like, whoa, it's like you're being high and you're running. I was like, it's a little bit like people describe on when they have bipolar, and when they have mania phase, when you're just like so excited, you're running around like a puppy, and then you're like, whoa, what was it? And the internet is already full like of videos, BBC fucking hard on my horse and all those things, and I'm like, oh wait, I have a child, like my child starts to talk, because like she was a baby, and then she started to be human, more and more human. I'm like, oh, whoa, wait. I just wait. Something I like.
How old is your child?
Now 7.
Nice.
So I was like, no. So enough. It was cool. But at some it took me 2 years, I think, because I couldn't like embrace immediately straight away the soul. because I was too excited and I made too much of hardcore content. So it was not just, I was not just nude modeling. I was just doing fucking, no, I was not doing gangbangs, okay. No bukkake. But lots of things. Lots of things. And lots of anal.
Did you travel around the country
Yeah.
very much? You were going...
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite exciting. It was really exciting. I remember at that point I was not taking drugs. I was like really not I was quite excited. But then as the excitement went, so let's finish fast. Let's quickly finish because I'm gonna talk a lot. So
you haven't told me why we're doing the interview. That's what I want to know.
So yes, this is all, and then I thought, no, wait, I'm an artist, right? I'm an artist because I was originally artist myself, and then I started thinking, how can I use this experience? What shall I do? Because I was always like very interested in all this thing, and now kind of there is a twist of like it's not easy to follow myself. So I thought that I'm going to be adult photographer myself. And I started to shoot lots of people. I even shot porn, and but it was like not really. It's not working. I don't understand.
Did you do filming or photography? So you said you shot porn, so that was photography.
Photography, yes.
Okay.
No, I mean hardcore. Let's say not porn, hardcore stuff. So I went to art school.
Nice.
So I was like, I want to understand. What shall I do with my life? Because I can't really feel like I am an artist, because artist is somebody who wants to talk about things that are important for him. Her. And this is very important moment. I can't just create something randomly. And this was not enough. It was not enough. Like, okay, I have some content, I have some photography, but I just don't understand. I am still embarrassed with all this experience, and I'm still don't.
What do you mean embarrassed?
Embarrassed because for me it's like if you're doing porn, you are still. It is sort of a taboo, and it is sort of a you should not because you're married and have child.
Do you know something? Let me just interrupt you for 1 second. I rarely use the word porn. Porn has got a very stigmatized name about it, and it's so general. I use the words adult entertainment. I know they're a lot longer than porn, but adult entertainment covers a vast variety of things, from art, like in the art galleries in London. That could be adult, but it's not pornographic. You wouldn't say a picture by Rubens is pornographic.
But I was interested in the very essence of an intercourse.
Oh, that sounds okay. Very essence of intercourse.
So I was like, this is what interests me. I just like, I am curious why people do this, like, why, and I like, how can I kind of make it work together within my personality? This like idea that, oh, I need to be like a decent a member of society. So it is like a mother and wife, and I was so, and what I was doing in art school for 2.5 years, I was trying to do everything but porn, but sex. So I was doing like all possible things. Like, I'm gonna do the performance. I'm gonna do the anti-war performance, or I'm gonna do the sculpture. And and then completely I got such a nervous breakdown, and I got into amphetamine addiction. And like I was really sad. And then I took a year off, fortunately, because I wanted to quit.
Right.
And my family, like, they helped me to fill the forms. So I quit drugs. I started doing yoga and exercise. And then I returned to university. And then I got this insight. And insight went through books, actually. I went to the library and found the sexuality shelf. Like Art University of London as a big library, and this is not you. Because if you go to Audible and type there porn, you will find like several books that will help you to deal with porn addiction. This is what you have in the Audible. So it's like a normal people bookshelf. And we are artists. We are like, we have sexuality shelf, and there's a lots of, and I just discovered there's so many people who work on that, and there is even porn scholars. And I'm like, wow. And then I started reading these books, and I was like, wow, there's some. So if for me it was like so kind of wonderful, because I found a comfortable space for myself to exist. So I just found a discourse that is comfortable for me with keep doing what I am doing, but not feeling how I don't want to feel myself about it. And this is another story. Then I get this idea of this, because I see that there is very strong woke not tendency, not fashion. So the feminist queer woke porn is very strong now, and it's very much related to the body positivity and labor theory of like Marxism and stuff. And I was like thinking, but no, this is not what I am really want to talk about. Because like there is a whole big bunch of people who write books and write theories. It is like there was some so-called porn wars in 70s, I think. There were very aggressive feminist movement against porn.
We call them feminazis.
Oh yes. And so now it's a bit different, but I still kind of, I wanted to, because my own vision of it, and I've been submissive since I'm like 4. Like I remember myself being having BDSM fantasies when I was a child, which like I have no idea where they come from. So it was like very, very natural born. And I was like always thinking about all these things of consent, about things of dream, about fantasy, about like what makes it like wonderful. Like because what there's lots of conversations about consent now, about you need to speak on everything, you need to agree on everything, and I just like feel that something is very much missing in all this super conscious productions. So yes, and I just wanted to talk with people who I just thought, why not trying? And then he talks about you, because and he says that you are very happy to chat. That's the thing.
Is this for your degree, Marina?
So this is ideally it is for my degree, yes, and I would like to shoot. And have you seen my videos? Not videos, my work.
What, your photographic work? No, I haven't seen anything yet. I knew nothing about you until Eddie asked to do this interview, and I asked him basically for your name and have you worked in the past. He said, gave me your name and told me you have, and he told me you work for Rock. That's all I knew. I didn't know. He said that this interview would be about something to do with your degree regarding art and so on, art and porn.
It's more than that.
But
like, it's more about like not even degree, but like my kind of lifetime career and research.
Right. So you're going to speak to several other people in the industry, are you? Is that the plan?
Yes, if I kind of like it, and I am not sure how shall I, because I am quite happy to even do the content share with people if it will make them to feel comfortable, you know. which is funny, isn't it? Because like some people who write books about this, they're like saying that people are not very keen to talk about
Who
stuff with
says
them.
this?
No, it's in the books, because if people writing books on that and they try to speak with people about like things.
The only reason we won't speak to you, or the press, or the media, and I've been interviewed by the media several times, right? Magazines, television, a lot. I won't do it anymore. I don't think many people in the industry will, unless they're stupid. And do you know the reason why? Because the only reason why the media, television, films is out there is to entertain, correct? And inform. Entertain and inform. They are the two reasons for the media. When somebody from the adult industry comes along to do an interview with them, I've even seen it heard it on the radio, right? But the worst ones are in the press, like magazines, women's magazines, and general magazines. And on one occasion, my wife, my ex-wife, and myself were interviewed for what's that big women's magazine, Cosmopolitan? You know, the big women. It was another one at the time. Anyway, keeping it short, was we were interviewed about, we did sex parties at the time, you know, big group sex parties and so on. And she was escorting as a dominatrix. I was doing porn, basically. And they wanted to interview us as a husband and wife doing, you know, in the adult industry. So we had the interview, and I asked the editor to please send me the copy of the interview so I could check it, which she did. She sent it to me. I showed it to my wife. Oh, this is fantastic. It's basically everything we said. We asked about a couple of changes, and they made them. Anyway, they sent it back, saying, great. The magazine came out the next month. I couldn't believe what was in it. It made us look like money-grabbing mafia, right? And I phoned them up, and I said, this isn't the interview we did. And she said, I know, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. When it went up to the group editing, sub-editors, they decided it wasn't as entertaining enough. It was too informative. I gave too much information about. They wanted it to be like, oh, what went on at a sex party and so on. What went on a porn shoot? You know, who fucked whom? And I'm thinking, so when we've done this in the past, this is fine because this is a sort of like, with all due respect, an amateur situation. You're not a professional journalist or anything, because journalism, particularly now with the Online Safety Act in force, right, and with new sex viruses being tested for, the industry is in a real turmoil at the moment. It's true, isn't it, Ed? It's split at the moment.
What are the viruses?
In the UK, not in Europe.
You're talking about the testing.
Yeah, MGen and trichomosis. Yeah, now see, Eddie and I were talking before we got here, but I don't want to delay you, obviously, because we've got to get on with the interview. But everyone gets tested, goes to Dean Street, as you say, have free tests once a month, once every 28 days, and everybody goes along and does all that, right? But, right, the NHS has had cutbacks. Dean Street, particularly sexual health clinics, have had their funding reduced because the government don't see it's an essential need. Cancer is essential and things like that. But people having sex, no, don't need extra money. Anyway, the point is they've lost their funding, and everyone, and this industry, because we're not the same as Europe, we're not the same as America, we're a small industry here in the UK, right? For example, everywhere else in the world, if you want to work in porn, you've got to have 14-day tests, right? That's the expected norm. Also, you get tested for every virus. You go to a private health clinic, you pay, I don't know, $300, $400. Now over here, everyone, it's 28 days here, not 14 days. So I can go along, as long as I've got 3 months consecutive certificates, I can work in porn, right? Must have 3 consecutive ones every 28 days. But now people are saying you need to be tested for MGen and trichomosis. And Dean Street won't test for those because they're tiny little, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. They're pathetic. But in America, in Europe, you go to a private clinic, they'll test on everything. And now people are panicking. It's the usual story, Marina, of fake news. Everyone thinks they're a medical expert. They go on to Google and say, MGen, what happens? And it comes up with things like kidney failure, all that shit. You read it's like you take aspirin. You know, you could fucking die. You know, if you've